I just had to record this video because I feel like what I'm about to describe to you is something that I really think, after working with a couple students and kind of exploring some ideas, it holds back beginners and intermediates from being able to repeatedly, consistently finish tracks and make things that they're proud of, right? So the idea is, it's essentially perfectionism, but it manifests in all these sort of crazy different ways that I'm seeing, and it's the big overall concept that manifests in loads of small areas in your music production, right? So perfectionism, or this idea of this is good, but could it be better? Straight away your head might be thinking of all the places that could apply. Maybe you found a sample. This sample's good, it could be fire, but could I find a better one? This kick is hitting, but is there another better one in my library? Oh, okay, I liked what I did with this compressor, I kind of tweaked it, but is there a better way? This is something that I've seen a lot of my students do. They're continually looking for better, better, and better and better. And there's a couple reasons why I think it prevents you from being able to build up to a actually good level, right? So this is just my opinion, but I actually think good music oftentimes has a lot of imperfections. It has a lot of happy accidents, right? And there's power in being able to say, this is good enough, I'm gonna make this decision and move on quickly. So this kind of comes onto the first benefit of being able to make that and accept good enough. Speed. A lot of you guys might not be realizing how powerful it is to be fast in creating whatever you want to create. Obviously there's those main things of like, maybe you're in a room with an artist, you want to get an idea quickly, or maybe you want to kind of get an idea, you've only got a limited amount of time. There's that. But there's also a deeper level where I found that creativity has a momentum to it. And as you're creating, more ideas will come that will want to be executed on quickly. Ideas come and go and you want to be able to execute them quickly. If you go too slow, like a car, you'll start to stall and sputter out, and eventually you'll lose the creative flow and you won't be able to jump back into that beat again. Maybe you've got a beat that you were working on, took a week away because you got stuck on a certain thing trying to find the right snare, and now you can't even be bothered to go back and try and carry on that. I've got loads of beats like that because I lost the creative momentum, I lost the ideas, and all of a sudden it just feels stale. It doesn't feel the same to me. That's what you risk when you're potentially trying to continuously make better and better decisions on the same thing. Let me give you a few examples. I kind of spoke about it at the top, but this is very real in a way that I've seen a lot of my students actually do. If you're searching Splice for a particular percussion loop, maybe it doesn't sound exactly the way you wanted it to, but ask yourself, what can I do to put it in now, to temporarily have it there, and what can I change about it to get it more into my particular zone? Same with a chord progression. Okay, these are the chords that I quite like. Maybe I'll explore how it could be in the future, but for now, this is what I'm gonna go with. Sacrificing that perfectionism in the aim of momentum allows you to move forward with your tracks and not stall and not get stuck in this particular period of, okay, I'm going to be working on this snare, I'm going to be working on this kick for however long. You might have seen this in my particular workflows. How many times do I spend searching for a kick or a snare or a loop? 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes max. I'm actively trying to make sure that I don't spend too long on that, because at that particular stage, that's not what makes or breaks the track. The thing that makes or breaks the track is the idea. And if you lose the idea, it doesn't matter how good the kick is. If the idea's gone, it's gone. So a couple things that I recommend to kind of help with this particular track. One is the obvious stuff. Get to know your plugins, get to know your templates, get to know the things that you like, get to know the things that make you feel like they're good enough. Like, you know, I have like a free chorus that I love, the Tao Chorus LX, I think it might be called, something like that. There's probably better choruses out there, but that chorus is reliable for me. It's good enough. It gets me the sound that I want. So I don't overcomplicate. I'm not trying to overthink that particular decision. Same with loads of compressors I have, loads of plugins I have. The kits I have are very expressly put on the side of my DAW so that I only have a small selection of kits to go through, and I actually actively try and prune them and take some out that I don't use a lot, so that when I'm creating, I'm not faced with a whole wall of samples and I've got to try and find the best. I'm like, what's the best kick out of these 4 packs, these 4 options? And these limitations help kind of breed that creativity, that kind of momentum. So yeah, get your plugins in order, learn what packs you like, get your shortcuts going nice, build your templates so that you have the things that you want. All of those things that kind of help you execute faster, they're great. But then there's also a mental catch. If you're finding yourself asking, yeah, this could be fire, and then you keep going, go for like 2 more times, 3 more times, and just go with the one that you thought was good enough. Sacrifice the perfectionism in favor for the idea and see how far it gets you. I think it will get you quite far. And then my third tip is separate your creative phase from your editing phase. So what does this look like? This means when you're producing, for example, when I'm making my beats or whatever, I'm thinking quick, any kick will do, any snare will do. Let me put a vocal and I don't even know what the words are gonna be. Let me try just this. I don't even pause to think about my vocal melodies. I'm like, yeah, let me just get an idea in. Let me get this idea, rough arrangement, etc. Have that, get the idea out. And then on an entirely separate day, on an entirely separate time, you can put a different hat on and you can be very critical about every decision, every idea. This is why I like to separate my mixing phases, because there's a time and a place to critique your ideas, but it's not as you're having them. It's okay to be critical and think through your ideas and think, what can I do to make this better? But ideas are like candles, right? If you subject them to too much pressure too early, they just blow out, they're just gone, right? You have an idea for a drum groove, you go to try it, and you start dragging in and you're like, nah, this kick, that's not right, this kick's not right, this kick's not right, and then the idea's just, I'm just not going to do it anymore. So get the idea, and then on another day, you can make all of those decisions that you probably would have made earlier, right? So on another time and another place, you can swap out the kicks, swap out the snare. What about this arrangement? Okay, now I'm going to really focus in and dial in my EQ so that's exactly how I want it to sound. I'm going to make sure I fix my melodies, etc. This is a very, very important part of my workflow in particular. You'll see that my productions take 20 to 30 minutes. When I'm mixing my tracks and I'm trying to get it to that stage where I want it to stand up on platforms, it could take me a week. It could take me a lot longer, but that's okay because the idea is there. So try this. I don't want you guys to be overthinking. I don't want you guys to be kind of second guessing every decision you have. Try and go for speed, try and optimize for how fast you can get your ideas out. And last point I'll make, they don't have to be good. I think that might be an issue. I think that might be something that some of you guys might be thinking. You might be thinking, oh no, if I pick a bad kick, I'm going to end up with a bad track. But the fact is, if you're a beginner, intermediate, even an advanced, it doesn't matter what level you are, you're going to end up with bad tracks at certain points. Right? Oftentimes it's not going to be one minute decision that's going to make that. It's going to be several compounded decisions that kind of lead you in a direction that maybe you don't like anymore. And that's absolutely fine. There's this skill gap that's apparent with several different disciplines, right? Especially with music. You hear the music on the radio, you hear the music on Spotify, it's all incredible, it sounds amazing. And then you hear your music, it doesn't sound the same. I have the same thing even now, so I'm not trying to berate you or anything. Like, it happens to pretty much everyone I know, right? Oftentimes the reason we have this over perfection is we want to try and close that gap. We're like, okay, I need to pick the perfect kick because I want to have the same punch that Tyler the Creator has. These chords just aren't right because they still don't sound like how Thundercat does it. This bass line's trash, I'm not going to use this bass line, it's not good enough because it's not how, etc, right? But the fact is, one, obviously you're not them, and two, you might not have the skills, decisions and resources available to create those things. So you have to make, and this is a very, very difficult thing to try and do, you have to make something that feels good for you. Something that's better than maybe your previous stuff. And it's okay if it doesn't compare up to other tracks on Spotify, etc, because that comes with time. That comes with finishing a repertoire of beats, of tracks. Like if you get to like your 100th finished, mixed, master track, you'll be at that level where you're making tracks that you're insanely proud of and stand up alongside the rest of the music that you like. But you have to get there. You have to make them. You can't work on one track for 3 years and try and get it to that finish line. I've never seen it work that way. It's so difficult because as you learn new things, learn new concepts, you want to apply them in new places. It's okay with things being not perfect. It's okay if things aren't as great. As long as you get an idea that you love out and on a page, let that momentum take you, finish it, learn everything you need to get it to every aspect that you want to learn. So if you want to learn mixing, you have to get to the mixing stage. If you want to learn vocal mixing, you're going to have to put some vocals down, etc. Especially if you want to learn marketing and start building a career, you're going to have to start putting your tracks out there at some point. You can only start putting your tracks out there if you're finishing them. Go through these stages over and over. And it's okay if your track number 7 doesn't line up with Tyler the Creator's track number 3688, right? Once you get to track number 3688, you watch how close you're gonna be. Alright, I hope that helps. If you guys like the more unfiltered stuff, where I'm just kind of giving more mindset stuff, check that out. Appreciate it. Let me know. I'm building out a course. Maybe by the time you're watching this, it's already out, and in which case it'll be linked. If not, sign up to the landing page below, name, email address, to join the waiting list. And when it's out, you'll get massive discount. You'll be able to find out everything about it. So check that out, get signed up for all of that stuff. I love you guys. You're the best.